Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and I hope you're having a great day, not just a good day. So today's mystery case is going to be about a case that probably leaves you more annoyed than happy that it got solved. We're going to be talking about 15-year-old Rachel Barber. She was a beautiful young girl that had bright emerald green eyes. She was a dancer, she was a model. Everybody loved her, her family, friends, teachers. Who did not love Rachel Barber? So Rachel was a very beautiful young girl who loved dancing, and she was also going to school because obviously her parents tried to make her go to school as she was pursuing her dancing career. But at a particular point in time, Rachel decided that she did not want to go to school anymore and she wanted to go into dancing full time. So her parents agreed, and she was a full-time dancer at a factory. So she was a full-time dancer at the dance factory near her home. So Rachel's parents have different schedules on who drops her in the morning at the dance factory. It could be her mom today, it could be her dad tomorrow. So they had a roster or a schedule on how they usually drop her. So on this particular day in 1999, Rachel's dad was the one that dropped off Rachel at the dance factory, where she went in, she had a very nice time and whatnot. After the dance class, she decides to leave the dance factory with her friends, and usually they go to the same tram station. If you don't know what a tram station is, it's basically kind of like a bus or a train, kind of in those times that they used to like go home or to get to different locations those days. So Rachel got out of dance class with her fellow friends, and then instead of walking with them to the tram station where they usually always split up, she decided that day that she was not going to. So she told her friends that, oh, you guys, I'm not going to follow you guys to the tram station today. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And they asked her why. She was like, oh, it's confidential. She has a job that particular day. Her friends saw this very weird because it's very unlike Rachel to keep things from them, but they did not think much about it because they were like, okay, since she's allowed to keep things to herself, privacy. So she was walking to the other tram station where she was supposed to go for this her confidential job, where she saw her boyfriend in one of the stores like that she loved, like that was on the street of the dance factory. So she saw her boyfriend and she was like, oh hey, like what are you doing there? He was like, oh nothing, just trying to buy some things from my mom. And in the process of talking to her boyfriend, she saw some blue shoes that she really loved, and she told the owner of the shop like, yo, I love these shoes, please keep them for me, I'm going to get some money to buy these shoes. The boyfriend was wondering like, where do you want to see the money to buy these expensive blue shoes? And she was like, I have a job that I'm going for and it's very confidential. Her boyfriend Manny was trying to get it out of Rachel, like, tell me where you're going to get this kind of money from, like I hope you're not doing something bad or something. And she was like, no, everything is legal, I'm just gonna get some money, I just can't really say anything much about it, I can only like just tell you that it's confidential, and after I do the job, I'm going to tell you what it was. And the boyfriend, not trying to pry, he said, okay, like whenever you're done with whatever job, just let me know. And she was like, yeah. So she left her boyfriend in the store and decided to go for her confidential job. But back at home, her parents started waiting for her because where is Rachel? Rachel's dad goes to the tram station that he usually picks Rachel up from, but he does not see Rachel and he's wondering like, okay, maybe she's just running late today and maybe she's just with her friend. She just probably forgot and time just flew by or whatever. He waits for more than an hour and he does not see Rachel anywhere near the tram station. So he's like, okay, he's just going to go visit his mom and he'll be back to pick Rachel up. So he goes to visit his mom and he talks to his mom, he checks up on his mom, and he decides to come back to the tram station and he does not see Rachel. So he assumes that, okay, probably in the process of him trying to go get his mom, Rachel came to the tram station and waited for a long time and did not see him and she decided to go home. So he goes home and he asks everyone, where is Rachel? And the sisters and mom also ask him, we don't know, we thought she was with you, she always comes back with you or she comes back alone, like, and this is like past 7 now and Rachel is nowhere to be found. The mom and sisters panic, they are scared that something has happened to Rachel because this is the first time that something has ever happened like this, and Rachel is always punctual. Rachel always tells them where she's going to. Rachel is very, very, very punctual, so it's weird that she did not leave any message telling her parents anything. So the parents go to the police station to report the case, and the police is like, She's a teenager. They always do this, they run away, she's going to be back. And the parents, especially the mom, was telling the police that I know Rachel, and Rachel would never run away from home. And then the police is like, oh, that is what all parents say about their teenage daughters and guys. They always say that she just ran away. It's not a missing persons case. She's going to be back. She's fine. And then the mom is like, okay, you're trying to tell me that you know my daughter better than I do. So like, they go back home, they try to call Rachel's school, and the school is like, oh, Rachel left when dance class was over. She left with her friends. So the parents tried to talk to some of Rachel's friends, and one of them was like, oh, Rachel left us on the way to our tram station to another tram station, and because she said she had a job that she had to do that was really confidential. And the mom was confused because Rachel never told her anything about a confidential job or any job that she had to do. So this even made everything more confusing. But she thought that, okay, Rachel should be fine since she was the one that decided to leave and not tell anybody because of a confidential thing. So they thought that, okay, Rachel has a boyfriend. So anything confidential, she should have told her boyfriend. They call Manny. Manny is Rachel's boyfriend, and Manny says the same thing. Oh, I met her at a store while she was on her way, and then she said that she had a job to go to that was very confidential. And when they hear this from Manny, they are like going crazy because now they're like, this is not just something that they have control over, because now they do not know or have any idea where Rachel could be, because after her friends and Manny, they have nobody else. The next day, Rachel's parents go to the police station to file a missing persons report on Rachel, and they still gaslight this woman to tell her that nothing is wrong with Rachel. Like, how do you even know nothing is wrong with Rachel? You don't even know her. Like, you don't know how she is, and you're just saying that, oh, because she's a teenager, she probably ran away. This makes Rachel's parents really worried, so they decide to alert the whole town and let everyone on the street know that Rachel has been missing for a whole day. So they go through all the shops on the street of her dance factory class, and they decide to, ask questions to customers, to the owners of the stores, to the receptionist, like, oh my gosh, this is my daughter and I have been looking for her for the past 24 hours. Please, have you seen her? And then she manages to enter into the store where Rachel sees Manny. And the shop owner is like, yeah, I saw her here yesterday and she told me to keep these blue shoes for her and that she was going to come back tomorrow to buy them. Rachel's mom is confused as to how Rachel could even afford shoes like that, or where she could even want to get the money like that. But it all clicks that, oh, she said she was going for a jump that was confidential. So this makes Rachel's mom even more scared. So the shop owner tells Rachel's mom that, okay, you know what? I have a private investigator that could probably help or give you some tips on what to do. And I could also tell him to appeal to the police since he has friends in the police. I could also probably try to take the case up for her. And the mom is like, yes, thank you. I would love that. And please help me contact the police station and whatever. And after all of this, it is known like throughout the whole street of the dance factory that, okay, Rachel Barber is missing. The shop owner also tells her that, okay, I'm going to put out missing person posters on all of the streets. So the shop owner gives Rachel's mom the private investigator's number, and not too long after, the whole street was filled with Rachel's pictures on how she's missing, if she has been seen anywhere, and like this becomes a very huge deal throughout like the town. Like, okay, we are looking for Rachel Barber. Even the shop owners were doing a better job than the police at this point, because at least people were trying to find out where Rachel could be. The whole community came together to find out where Rachel could be. Rachel's mom got some calls from other shop owners saying that, okay, yes, they saw Rachel walking past their shop like every other day or sometimes in the week when she just wants to buy some little things, but they just thought it was a normal day and she was not with anybody, so they didn't think that anything was going to happen to her. So they advised Rachel's mom to try to call a brothel that was in their city, because some people say that they hire young girls in the brothel and whatnot, and some shady business. So Rachel's mom decides to call the brothel to ask them, like, hey, I'm looking for this particular girl called Rachel Barber. She's my daughter. Please, if you please, if she's with you or she's in the brothel, please let me know. I promise I'm not going to tell the police. I promise I'm not going to raise this up or anything. And the brothel owner feels offended and he's like, no, we do not keep underage girls in our brothels. Neither do we pimp little girls out, which is very absurd of you to say or ask on the phone. Rachel's mom tries to tell them that she does not mean to be mean, or she doesn't mean to come off like they do that. She was just very scared because that was what people around her said that they do, and they were like, they understand. And the brothels and sex workers actually played a huge part in Rachel's missing case because they actually set out to help to find Rachel. They put out posters, they were contacting other brothels, they contacted other sex workers from other brothels. So it was like they played a really huge part in looking for Rachel too. So the last option they have at this point is to contact the private investigator. The private investigator listens to Rachel's mom's story and he tells them the truth that I don't think there is much I can do in this case except tell you to try to contact the police again, and this time you should go with them with a list. They should draft out a list of all of Rachel's friends, female friends, male friends, that they should just make a list of all of them, and that they should take it to the police station and give it to the police to try to interrogate all of Rachel's friends. So the last option that Rachel's mom has at this point is the private investigator. And the private investigator advises Rachel's mom to write a list of all of Rachel's female friends because Manny had called in to say that he remembers that Rachel said that it was a confidential job that her friend was going to do for her. And Rachel did not have, she did not even have any male friends. So it's most likely it's going to be a female. And she's even said a she. Rachel actually said a she. So that's already boils it down to the fact that it was no male. It was a female. So the private investigator told her to make a list of all of Rachel's friends around the town or anywhere. In fact, all her friends from beginning to the end that she has ever made since she was a kid. And the mom says, okay, if that's what I have to do, then I have to do that. So she writes down all of Rachel's friends and she decides to take it to the police station. And the police is like, oh, okay, fine, I'm going to interrogate them, blah, blah, blah. Like they were so lackadaisical about the fact that Rachel was missing because they really did feel that Rachel ran away. You don't even know this girl, so why would you feel like she just ran away? Rachel's parents get home and they are all scared, they are crying, they are thinking something very bad happened to Rachel. And the next day they decide to go to the dance factory and ask what the lead is in looking for Rachel, if they found any other person that knows where Rachel could have been. And they also ask if the police came to interrogate any of them in the dance factory. And they all say no, the police never came, which means the police lied about the fact that they were going to interrogate people like all of Rachel's friends, teachers, and whatnot. They never investigated anyone in the dance factory. And that is like basically more than half of Rachel's friends that Rachel's mom wrote in the list. So the police was not doing their job. They were so lackadaisical about that fact. It even got to a point where the police said to Rachel's mom, I think you should relax and just focus on your other kids and try to forget about Rachel for now because I just feel like she ran away and it's not that much of a big deal. How can you tell a mother that is looking for her child that it's not that much of a big deal? That was a very bad thing to even say in the first instance because I can't imagine. I would have like gone crazy if the police ever told me that because bro. So while all this was happening, Rachel's parents start to try thinking of anything that could help them to find out where Rachel was because they remember a particular instance when Rachel was coming back from the dance factory and she had to run into a store because she was afraid that 4 men were following her. And indeed they were, because when Rachel ran into the store, those 4 men also followed Rachel from behind, and before she like lost them, and she was so shy because Rachel was a very shy girl and she was so shy and afraid to ask for help. So she just let it go and came home and told the parents. So because of this, they were also afraid that what if something like this also happened to Rachel? That's why she's missing. What, maybe something, or those same 4 men were watching her all through. You know, they were just becoming paranoid and thinking that something really bad happened to Rachel. After a few days of Rachel being missing, there's a particular broadcasting channel called Australia's Most Wanted. So they wanted to feature Rachel's missing case in the newspaper, on their broadcast station, because it was really huge. And this was a very exciting case for Rachel's family, because they started feeling like, okay, fine, wow, like things are actually starting to get serious, and maybe we can actually get help, because this is actually a very big broadcast station that could really help in somebody maybe hearing about it and finding Rachel for them. Immediately, the police found out that Australia's Most Wanted is trying to feature Rachel. They start kicking up. They start becoming serious about Rachel's case. They start trying to find out, oh, who Rachel could have been with. At a particular point, they now started the investigation based on the list that Rachel's mom gave them a long time ago. Okay, so now the police first of all start thinking that, oh, Rachel ran away because she got pregnant for her boyfriend and she was so ashamed to tell the parents. And Manny, which is Rachel's boyfriend, was like, that cannot even be possible, because Rachel is not that kind of person. And Rachel knows that if anything happens in that kind of case, I'm going to take care of it and we're going to go through it together. So that is definitely not the case. So the police is still searching for Rachel, and everything just leads to dead ends at this point. But because of Australia's Most Wanted featured Rachel, one of the students in the dance factory had an elder sister that actually saw Rachel the day that she went missing. So she sees the news and sees that, oh, the day that she saw Rachel correlates from the day that she got missing. And she's like, oh my God. So immediately she calls Rachel's mom and she tells Rachel's mom all that she knows. She says that, oh, that she saw Rachel at Praran, and the reason why she noticed Rachel was because Rachel's face was kind of familiar to the place, because she usually takes a walk around the particular time that Rachel came to that particular side of town. And she just saw Rachel walking with a girl that had blonde hair. And not just blonde, the hair was also curly. So she told Rachel's mom that she saw them in front of a car wash, and that they were just having a very long conversation. And it was very weird, because usually by the time when they were talking, everybody is either rushing in or rushing out of the train station, but they like just stayed at that particular side and they were just having a very long conversation about God knows what. Rachel's mom is confused but happy that, okay, she has a lead at this time, and then she tells the police, and this gets riled up. So now they start looking for Rachel in Praran and trying to find out where Rachel could be. So the list that was given to the police station starts getting cut short, because everyone that is brunette, redhead, out of the list. So now the only people that were on the list were like just 3 people at this point, that because Rachel only had like 3 blonde friends. So one of the blonde friends was someone called Caroline Reed Robertson. And the only reason why Caroline was on that list was because 2 days after Rachel was missing, Caroline called Rachel's house and she sent her condolences, trying to find out what could have happened and everything. That was the only reason why Rachel's mom even remembered to put Caroline on the list. Like, oh yeah, Caroline, yeah, we've not seen her in a very long time, because Rachel and her family were actually living in Mount Albert, and they were actually neighbors with Caroline's family. And Caroline was the eldest out of all their children. So Caroline would always babysit Rachel, and she grew very fond of Rachel and she loved Rachel, until Rachel's family had to move to the north side. And obviously, the whole bond that they had with the whole family thing kind of broke off, because, you know, distance and all, they are no longer neighbors. So obviously, things will change kind of. So Caroline's parents had divorced within the time that Rachel moved. Like, they did not know any of this. This was just like private family drama. And Caroline just kind of had some family issues that some people go through. So Caroline decided to move to Praran and start her life, get a job, and, you know, try to pick things up for herself in the new side of town. Then Rachel's mom remembered that Caroline actually usually calls home to ask if Rachel could model for her for a particular photography thing she was doing, but I don't think Rachel ever had the time to go. So I think they just always shrugged it off. They never really thought much of it. So this becomes a very shocking thing to Rachel's mom, because even if Rachel was going to meet Caroline, she should have just told her. So she told the police this, and they find out that, oh, Caroline actually lives in Praran. So okay, things starts getting better. The police go to Caroline's house and they do not find Caroline at home. So they decide to go to Caroline's workplace where they're like, Caroline has not been to work for like 4 days now. She called in sick. So the police is confused. If she called in sick, then why is she not at home? Where else could she be if she was not at home? So they get a hold of Caroline's dad, and Caroline's dad says, yes, Caroline actually was sick, and he came over to Caroline's house. But Caroline started acting weird, and Caroline locked her doors. And it is very weird for someone who lives alone in an apartment to be locking their doors. So the dad was kind of confused because Caroline never wanted to open the door, which was weird because anytime he came over, Caroline was always free opening her doors and whatnot. So the police hear this and decide to go back to Caroline's house and break in. So they go back, they break in, and they find Caroline on the floor, nearly unconscious. And they see that her hair is kind of looking greenish because she's a blonde girl, but it's looking greenish, which means that she probably attempted to dye her hair a different color or something and then it didn't work out or whatever. So they take Caroline to the emergency room and to the hospital to be taken care of while the police still try to do some searching in her place. And they found out that Caroline had taken a loan of $10,000. And Caroline also had lots of creepy letters where she's writing to herself and she's talking about how much she hates herself, and she's talking about how she has pimples on her face and how her face looks like a pizza. Meanwhile, on the other side of the book, she has how Rachel is perfect because she's skinny with perfect skin and perfect hair, always comparing herself to Rachel. They also find that she was trying to change her name from Caroline to Rachel Barber. How does that even make any sense? They also find that she was trying to change her birth certificate, the name from Caroline to Rachel. So they just see a lot of things that have to do with Rachel. So the police kind of know that Caroline definitely had something to do with Rachel missing, but she's in the hospital now and she's unconscious. So they have to wait for her to get better and everything. On their way out of Caroline's place, they take all of the evidence, like the letters that she sends to her dad, the drawings, the certificates, the loan and whatnot. So they decide to also ask some neighbors some things about Caroline. And one of the neighbors says that on the 2nd of March, actually, they hear a very loud noise from Caroline's house, but it was Caroline crying or screaming. So they didn't think much of it because they thought that, you know what, it's her privacy and whatever. So the police get this information and have to tell Rachel's parents to wait it out till Caroline gets better and she can talk. After a few hours spilling into the next day, Caroline gets better and the police rush to the hospital to interrogate Caroline on what on earth is going on, what they found and everything. Caroline does not even try to lie. She just says, yes, I killed Rachel. Caroline is arrested and taken to prison, and the police try to get more information out of her, but all she says is that she was helped. 2 guys helped her to carry Rachel's body to her dad's farmhouse in another city. The police tried to investigate more and they found out that she's actually lying because all she did was call movers. Like, there are people that move things from people's houses to other places in case they are trying to move. And she actually moved a sofa. And in that sofa, she hid Rachel's body in that sofa. And the movers did not know anything about it. They just carried the sofa and dropped it in the farmhouse. That's all they did. They had no idea about the dead body or whatever. So after a few hours or a day, Caroline went to her dad's farmhouse and the dad knew nothing about this, obviously, and she buried Rachel's body in the farm, somewhere around the farm. So the police go to the farmhouse and they eventually find Rachel's body, which was already decomposed. So they try to get an autopsy, which the results will be out in like a day or two. They try to investigate more to find more evidence against Caroline, and they see that the $10,000 that she tried to take as loan from the bank was actually to get a car and get her driver's license permitted for her so that she could drive Rachel's body herself to her dad's farmhouse and bury it herself without using movers. But I think she started getting scared and and she just used the movers or whatever because she was trying to get rid of the body faster. So the police and family of Rachel tried to get more closure from Caroline on why she did what she did, how she killed Rachel. They needed closure, and Caroline never admitted it like with words of mouth, but she wrote it down that how she killed Rachel was that she invited Rachel to her house and she was trying to get Rachel to help her in a project of psychological experiments, and Rachel believed and thought that she was going to get paid because Caroline told her that this actually makes a lot of money for people to like just talk about what they think and whatnot. And Rachel believed and came to Caroline's house to help her with her project because obviously she trusts Caroline. Caroline was literally her babysitter when she was younger. So Caroline says that she actually ordered pizza and wanted to poison Rachel, but that didn't work out because I think when the pizza came, Rachel was looking at her, so she did not have time to poison the pizza. So the next thing that she did was that she told Rachel to be in the process of the psychological experiment and told Rachel to lie down on the floor with her face up, closing her eyes, and think of a happy place, what makes her happy. Rachel goes on the floor, her head pointed upwards, she closes her eyes, and that is when Caroline takes a telephone wire and uses it to strangle Rachel. And when the autopsy came out, everything correlated because it was seen that Rachel actually died by strangulation. So Caroline was in jail for 1 year before her trial, and she got a total of 20 years in prison and 14 years no parole. And the funny thing is that there was actually a case whereby the judge pronounced that she was mentally ill, but even though she was mentally ill, the case was a premeditated murder and was very malicious. So she found herself 20 years in prison. And she applied for parole in 2015 and got the parole. And right now, Caroline is free, walking the earth with us. You can even see her in the stores, see her anywhere, and Rachel's life gone for nothing because at this point she's just walking freely. She's supposed to be punished for life, but I mean, what world do we live in, right? So that is the end of my YouTube video, you guys. I want to thank you for watching to the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on all social platforms. Bye.